Genesis, a text so monumental it has captivated the hearts and minds of readers for millennia. But what if we read it anew through a different lens, or should I say, a different prism? Today we embark upon a journey to revisit the book of Genesis, and in our audacious quest, we replace the term God with belief. Why belief, you might ask? Because, dear viewer, belief has a transformative power. It shapes societies, molds individuals, and challenges us to see the world anew. My inspiration emanates from a tome called The Ancient City, a work that evokes the compelling argument that it's belief, rather than divine entity, that holds the power to subdue nature and set the course of human events. Genesis is more than a mere historical or religious text. It is a metaphorical landscape teeming with archetypes and parables. By replacing God with belief, we unravel layers of hidden wisdom. We invite you to join us in dissecting, understanding, and reinterpreting the verses of Genesis. Together, we will unearth the invaluable gems that have remained buried beneath the sands of literal interpretation. So, as the dawn ushers in a new day, let us also usher in a new understanding of an ancient text. What enlightening truths shall we discover on this remarkable journey? Language, that exquisite tapestry woven from the threads of human consciousness, but how does it fare when we apply it to the realm of the divine, or in our reinterpretation, the realm of belief? The language of Genesis is drenched in metaphor, symbolism, and nuance. The word God itself is more than just a title. It is a concept, intricate and multidimensional. In the ancient world, names held power. They were more than mere identifiers. They encapsulated the essence of the being. When we transition from God to belief, we are not merely replacing one name with another, but imbuing the narrative with new layers of meaning. The Hebrew language has been the vessel carrying these ancient stories. Let us consider the Hebrew term for God, often noted as Elohim. An intriguing point to ponder. It is a plural term. Could this plurality hint at the multiple dimensions of belief? Symbols and archetypes saturate the book of Genesis, the tree of knowledge, the serpent, the flood. Each is a complex metaphor that gains new hues when seen through the prism of belief. Language has the ability to transcend its own limitations, to hint at truths beyond its grasp. And in translating God to belief, we venture into this nebulous realm of linguistic transcendence. Behold the cradle of civilization, the ancient Near East, a region teeming with history, culture, and enigmatic belief systems. But what was the world like when Genesis was penned? Let's unfold the tapestry. To truly comprehend Genesis, one must first understand the era that birthed it. This was a time of powerful empires like Egypt and Mesopotamia, each with their own religious and cultural tapestries. Creation stories were not unique to Genesis. Multiple civilizations had their own cosmogonies. So what sets Genesis apart? When we examine it through the prism of belief, we unravel a narrative that reflects universal human concerns. Imagine a society where kings were considered divine and priestly decrees swayed the fate of nations. Genesis was born from a complex interplay of social and political forces, many of which found expression in the text itself. Think of Spider-Man, a story based in a real setting, New York City, with buildings and streets we recognize. But a man with the abilities of a spider? Pure fiction. Imagine if our modern history were erased and rediscovered by future generations. They might assume we lived among spider people. Much like Spider-Man, the authors of Genesis used the real settings and conditions of their time to weave a narrative that wasn't literally true but conveyed deeper meanings, especially when viewed through the prism of belief. The authors of Genesis did not write in a vacuum. Their metaphors were often echoes of surrounding cultures reimagined and repurposed. Through the lens of belief, we gain fresh perspectives on these ancient analogies. Why dig into the past? Because context is everything. Understanding the historical backdrop can offer transformative insights into how belief shaped both the text and its first audiences. In any serious endeavor to uncover layers of meaning, methodology matters. It's not just about what you find, but how you go about finding it. Many use a lens to scrutinize sacred texts, focusing on a singular perspective. We, however, adopt a prism to engage with Genesis, illuminating its multidimensional aspects. While a lens narrows vision, A prism expands it, casting light in multiple directions. This approach invites nuanced understandings, enriching our view of this ancient narrative. Our prism of belief refracts the stories of Genesis into various shades of meaning, each reflecting different facets of human belief and its impact on society. Imagine examining the tale of Cain and Abel through the angle of sibling rivalry, then through the lens of divine obedience, and yet again as an allegory for agricultural versus pastoral societies. By employing ancient languages and contextual history, our methodology not only enriches interpretation, but also fosters a greater connection to the original text. In essence, our methodology serves as a groundbreaking guide to navigating the labyrinthine corridors of human belief as it's been handed down through millennia. From the Hindu Nirguna Brahman to the Taoist Wuji, civilizations have wrestled with the enigma of origin. Genesis paints its own canvas with darkness and a spirit hovering over waters. But what if we add belief into this cosmic equation? Far from an absence of light, the darkness is a vacuum of form and meaning. This hovering spirit, this restless potential, when viewed through belief, becomes a transformative catalyst, crystallizing the nebulous into the tangible, the abstract into the realized. Let's flirt with science for a moment. The Big Bang posits the universe sprang from a singularity. Could this singularity also be a point of belief, the emotional and conceptual ignition for all that is? Let there be light, states the text, and light appears. But through our prism, this light is more than photons. It's the dawn of comprehension, the birth of paradigms that define our very existence. Genesis offers a narrative of division, light from darkness, land from sea. When refracted through belief, these are not divisions but cultural constructs that unify us by providing shared perspectives that make the complex simple. The creation of humans in God's image, or in our terms, belief's image, illuminates our most unique attribute, our ability to conceptualize, to birth new realities from the caverns of mind. To exist is one thing, to believe is to tap into the cosmos. As Genesis culminates in the Sabbath, a day of rest, it invites us to ponder belief as a force that evolves within self-defined boundaries, forever iterating but always in harmony with its essence. Eden has often been pictured as a literal paradise, but what if we reconceptualize it as a sanctuary of belief? Here, Adam and Eve are not merely humans, but living canvases of burgeoning consciousness, and that consciousness revolves around, what else? Belief. The famous walks with God, or rather walks with belief, were not aimless strolls. They were an ongoing dialogue, an evolving discourse on the very substance of Adam and Eve's existence. A walk in the park this was not. The infamous forbidden fruit. Is it wisdom? Is it mortality? What if it's an awakening to the fluidity of belief? The serpent is not a villain but a philosopher, urging us to ask, what happens when belief is laid bare on the table of scrutiny? Eve's bite of the forbidden fruit is an act of audacious courage, a questioning that ruptures but also liberates, and Adam, equally daring, joins her in this existential gambit, a journey beyond the familiar walls of unquestioned belief. Expulsion from Eden is often lamented as a fall, but through our prism of belief, it's an ascent into unfathomable complexities. The flaming sword at Eden's gate is not a deterrent, but a lighthouse guiding us through an ever-evolving labyrinth of understanding. The cherubs, guardians of the tree of life, invite us to a deeper communion, one that beckons us back to the origins but with the wisdom of life's trials. This tree represents what belief can ultimately be, endlessly rooted and continually expansive. Cain the farmer and Abel the shepherd serve as archetypal anchors between which human belief ebbs and flows. The story doesn't merely pit brother against brother, but engages us in a study of the inherent dichotomies of belief, material versus spiritual, tangible against intangible. The diversity of their offerings, vegetables from Cain and a lamb from Abel, aren't mere tributes to God but representations of distinct orientations toward belief. From the earthy, practical belief of Cain to the transcendent, sacrificial belief of Abel, the narrative whispers that belief is neither monolithic nor binary, but a kaleidoscopic spectrum. Divine favor. God's preference for Abel's offering presents a conundrum. Is it a subtle commentary on the transience of material belief, or an acknowledgement of the unpredictable nature of divine or spiritual favor? Either way, the story posits that belief isn't static but an ever-shifting, mysterious entity. The tale takes a dark turn as Cain slays Abel, yet in this act we unearth not mere violence, but a cautionary tale about the hazards of allowing one form of belief to consume or negate another. The murder reflects the explosive potential of imbalanced beliefs, both within us and in the world at large. Cain's mark serves as both a branding and a baptism of sorts. It is a symbol of transformation, a proclamation that even misguided belief can find redemption and renewal. The story closes on a note that is neither purely punitive nor purely optimistic, but a blend hinting at the constant evolution of belief itself. Forget the Sunday school imagery of a wooden boat crammed with giraffes and elephants. Noah's Ark symbolizes something much deeper, a sanctuary for core convictions amidst existential chaos. Just as a treasure chest holds valuables, the Ark preserves essential paradigms and values that help us navigate the waters of uncertainty. The floodwaters weren't just divine punishment, they served as a universal reset button, dissolving outdated and untenable beliefs. Think of it as a cosmic detox, flushing away the old to make room for the new. The deluge forces us back to a state of primordial fluidity, where fresh paradigms can emerge. The rainbow. This is not just a divine "I won't flood you again" promise. It's a spectrum showcasing the myriad ways belief can manifest. The rainbow. This is not just a divine "I won't flood you again" promise. It's a spectrum showcasing the myriad ways belief can manifest. Each hue of the rainbow represents a different facet of understanding, creating a harmonious blend of diverse beliefs. The new world, it suggests, won't be black and white but a vivid spectrum of ideas. Noah's world after the flood is fertile ground for reconstructing belief. His first acts, like planting a vineyard, symbolize the human need to recultivate our frameworks of understanding. The post-flood world is not just about survival, but about the active shaping and cultivation of belief. However, renewal isn't without its pitfalls. Noah's drunkenness serves as a cautionary tale that newly found beliefs can intoxicate and mislead. This vulnerability is an invitation, though, a call to continually question, adapt, and mature in our relationship with belief.